Hello. So I've come to do a bit of a file folder fun day. Somebody recommended that I do a video showing something similar to this because I did make it with a file folder. So let's get started. I've started to prep because otherwise I think this is going to be a really long video. I've cut a piece of file folder 8 inches by 12 inches. I take my scoreboard, put this in there, and then I score at 4 inches, fold that over and score at 4 1/4 inches. Okay, so it will fold like that. And these are the measurements. So 8 by 12, score along the 12-inch edge, score at 4 inches, fold, and then score at 4 1/4 inches. And what you can see is you get the little gap here, so we've got a little gap here. It's not going to look too bad. I'm going to do this one slightly differently. It's very dark and dingy here today, pouring down with rain. So this is the inside. Okay, and I'm going to paint the inside to match papers that you may have seen in my Facebook group and on Instagram. I made these painted papers yesterday. One of them was suitable for this and the others weren't really because they don't match my colour scheme. I'm going to be using my Fancy Forest kit. So I wanted to get in a little bit of red. So I've got my gel plate. Let me pop that away. I've got my roller and I've got my I'm using gold metallic. I'm using the Fancy Black from Arteza, which is a kind of a shimmer black really. I think it's a colour change is what they call it. I'm going to use a small amount of Nicolazo gold. I'm going to be adding a little bit of this red barn, and then I'm going to be doing some black and some white, and I'm going to be using some white gesso to pretty much cover up everything I create, but that's just to dull everything down at the end. You'll see as I go through. So what I'll do is I'm going to speed this up quite a bit. Similar process to what I did with the painted paper that I did in my last video. So I'm going to get started. pieces I made yesterday, I've cut into 3 sections that will fit on the front of this piece. This is not quite dry, so I can't turn it over yet. But what I need to do is add a little bit of red colouring to these pieces so they kind of blend a little bit better. So I'm going to use my crackling campfire, and I'm just going to add some splotches like so, and I think that is going to be enough. I don't need to use the red paint, I just need to bring in a little bit of that tone to match the tags that I'm using. I'll dry these. Okay, so they're not a perfect match. Obviously I started with a green base on this, but they go, so I'm happy with that. I'm back. Everything's dry. Rookie error. Don't do what I do. This is obviously acrylic paint, and adding the distress stain, not a good idea. Didn't dry. Hours and hours it took. Well, it didn't take hours. It's probably been half an hour. I've had a coffee. But yeah, so I've patted it dry as best I can. Some of it's smudged, but it's all good. It's all good. It doesn't matter. And I just wanted to say, I watched the lovely Corey's video this morning on getting your mojo back. And I've actually recently emailed somebody with pretty much the identical advice. If you've got no mojo, copy somebody and put your twist on it. I think Corey called it limes, and that came from somebody else as well. But this is my kind of, you know, the first one I made was my version of what Louise Heinzel had made. So it's very different to hers, but the idea came from that. And I've put obviously my spin and mess on it, which is, you know, what we do, what we all do. And now I can't remember which way round this goes. It goes like that. Okay, so that's the front. That's the front. Goes like that. This one goes in the middle. I think that's the biggest one. No, that's the biggest one. Then that one, and then that one. That one was my front. Yes. What I'm going to do is I don't want these to match up. I don't want the paint to look like it was one piece. And if you could see, that will be like that. So I'm spinning that around. Now, I'm going to glue these two down. This one is going to be my pocket. So I'm not doing that as yet. I'm going to put that, actually, let me see which way looks best. Yeah, I'm going to have that. So I'm going to glue these down, and I'm going to do my kind of two-pronged attack with the gluing. So I'm going to go glue stick down the middle and art glitter glue around the outside. I haven't gone too close to the edge because I'm going to be sewing, and I don't want to really sew through glue stick. Okay. Now this one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold my pocket at the bottom. I'm going to put a little tear in here and fold these down. And before I do anything else, I'm just going to ink these edges. So what I'm going to do is line this up, and I'm going to glue this directly on to my backing paper. Looking at it, it's going to fit. It's going to fit on here perfectly. almost perfectly. Right, easy way to get rid of that. We're going to ink it. Something had to go wrong, didn't it? Can always cover that with a piece of lace later. So I'm going to glue this down. So that is that's the outside and that's the inside. So that is what we have so far. So the next thing I want to work on are the overlap things for the front. Yeah, I'm going to use that. So this is going to be these are going to be my layers. So before we start working on this bit, I'm going to have a clean up and drink some more coffee. I know I've been gone, well, you don't know I've been gone, but I've been gone for quite a long time. This is taking, this was going to be a bit too long a video, so I've made some things in advance. Now, the little first thing I've done, so I've actually backed the owl tag and sewn that, and I've taken a piece of the painted scrap paper, folded it in half and folded up a little bit just to make my first pocket. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I need a flat edge here, so I'm actually going to just use some scissors because everything on the right hand side needs to be flat. So I've now got my flat edge. I'm going to take that out for a second. This is going to be my hinge. So to start with, what I'm going to do is grab my glue, put my hinge glue in, and I want to go right up to the edge of this, although this is going to be sewn, and I'm going to just put that in place, glue that down. And I'm going to glue this part of my pocket down too. So that's going to be the top. That's going to be on the top. This is the second one, and I've just torn 2 pieces again of that scrap. I've inked this little tag here. Grab my crocodile and put a hole in here like that. Grab my little jar of vintage threads, and I'm going to find one that's a little bit thicker. Cut a little piece of that off. Every time I take a book apart, I salvage as much thread as I can. So I'm going to thread this in here. I'm not going to worry about reinforcing this hole because I'm going to glue this in place, and that's going to be sewn. Right, I'm going to glue around the edge. I'm going to sew around this. What I want to do is just make my straight edge up here. This is going to be the hinge for this particular one. That in place. So that is going to be the second flap. And then this one is going to be at the back. Now what I've done is I've just glued a pocket on here, taken 2 pieces of my packaging as I have before, and I'm going to just add my 2 hinges again. So they're going to go here. We'll have this one which will slightly overlap. There. And then this one will be further down here, and you'll get a much better idea once we're ready to kind of put these into place. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to sew around each of my pockets. There we go. So now what I want to do is actually, sorry, I've got the camera extremely close to my head for some reason. I don't know, it's not normally there. I'm going to glue these in place. I'm going to start with this one. Line this up like that. And line that up with my straight edge. So we don't have too bad an edge on this, but what I've done is I have cut myself a pocket that's going to go here. So when I sew, I'm going to be covering that up, okay? But because I want to put things in the pocket, that's why I needed to make sure that was glued down fairly well. Now I've angled this. I'm going to glue this in place. This is just made from the final piece of the painted paper that I used for the cover. Like I said, I did a lot of preparation, so hopefully if this video is probably a little bit longer than my usual videos, but hopefully it won't be too long that you'll all get really bored. And I'm just going to glue along there. Now I know I'm going to sew, so that's okay. I know that's not going to, nothing's going to fall out of that pocket. Okay, same with these. Let's just double check. That's looking pretty good. I'm liking that. Move our owl for a moment. Now I've got two pockets here prepped from my kit. I'm not going to back these quite the same way I did with the other book. I'm just going to add these pockets. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew around each of my panels, and need to be really careful I don't sew this into place. I'm going to sew these and then I'll be back. Right, that's my stitching done, and as I was stitching I had a terrible thought, because I have made my tags that fit in these pockets, and now I have sewn the pockets, my tags may not fit. So let's take a quick look. Okay, that one is not going to go in there, but I do have two that I've backed ready to sew, and what I'll do is I'm just going to trim a little bit off both of these when I do that. So hopefully this front pocket, yeah, so the fox was going to go into the front pocket, which it can still do, but maybe okay. We've got a pocket here which still fits. Nope, it doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to have to trim a little bit off there too. This one is going to go in there, no problem. And these two will go into there, no problem. So I think that's pretty much, I'm just going to have to trim those down a little bit. But we've got our little flaps on the front here. That will go in there, that will go there. So what have I got? I think I need a little flower on here, or I think we're going to put that there. I'm going to give it an ink. Okay, to get that to fit, I had to cut the back off that, so I'm not sure if those little bits are going to drop out. I'll sort that out if they do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off my tags and put a closure on, and then I'll come back just to show you how it's all ended up and talk about the little giveaway. We're all done. It wasn't a lot to do. So I've just literally put some seam binding on here as a closure. So far that's holding up, but I'm not 100% sure it will. So we've got the little tag in there, in that little flip, little flip here, and there's a little bit of room there for journaling. Card in here, and I've used a very plain book page, so you could still journal over the top of that. And there is plenty of space here for more to be done if you wish. We've got the pocket here, and I just cut a little bit off the edges of that tag to go in there, and I've sewn a little thing on there. Added a little piece on here onto that fold, and there is a very plain tag in here where I will write the message when this goes out, and I've not put that all the way in so you can still see the little deer there. Little corner pocket, 2 little tags backed with the scrap painted paper, and this pocket where we have another scrap of the painted paper. So that is the little file folder Funday folio, let's call it. And here we go for this is the Facebook, I'm afraid. The Facebook challenge for the rest of the month is to create painted papers. You can do it any way you like. If you could share the image in the event, once the event is up and running in the Facebook group, that would be fantastic. And I'm going to send this to the person I draw out at the end of the month. All of the information is in the Facebook group if you are a member. Hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed putting that together. It's taking a lot longer today, but I am really happy with my painted papers. So go over to the Facebook group and have a look. I will see you all really soon. Thanks again for watching. Bye.